This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with a Fox 17 Code Red weather alert because of the prospect of severe weather, not overnight tonight, but tomorrow night.
Well, this graphic showing our weather threat and the intensity, and that's why tonight we are in Code Red, so we'll get you prepared and you know what to expect.
That's right. Fox 17 Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan tracking the system and, as always, the timing. It looks like this is going to hit in the middle of the night.
Well, we're going to have a couple rounds, it looks like here. That first one coming in the overnight hours around 12 a.m. to about 6 a.m. early Wednesday morning. And then as the front approaches the area later Wednesday afternoon, there's the potential for another round of showers and storms. It's a conditional threat, especially that threat in the afternoon on Wednesday. What that means is that we need all the ingredients to come together and these storms to be able to fire for the severe weather threat to happen. At springtime, we can sometimes get a lot of the ingredients in play and then it just doesn't end up firing, and that's going to be what we're watching for as we head towards Wednesday, but the potential is there. So that's why we want to make sure that you're staying aware for the day on Wednesday. Our outlook does include all of Middle Tennessee, at least in a level 1 threat. To our north and to our west, a level 2 threat, and that is mainly for the afternoon hours on Wednesday. But again, there will be a chance even before that throughout the overnight hours, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Things are quiet for tonight. Partly cloudy sky with that temperature right around 74. And just to our north and to our east, we've been tracking showers and thunderstorms, but here in Tennessee, we've been nice and quiet. Temperatures mild tonight, down to about 64 here in town. We'll walk you through the timing for these thunderstorms coming up in your next Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Now to crisis in the classroom. High school students across Nashville leaving class to protest the bill allowing teachers to carry guns in school. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker has the latest.
Well, some believe that arming teachers could really be the answer here to stopping school shooters. Others worry about the gun ending up in the wrong hands and believe that lawmakers should put their focus elsewhere.
Guns in schools have got to go!
Lawmakers and parents joined dozens of students in a school walkout early Monday morning.
Textbooks that are updated belong in our schools, not guns.
Filled with emotion, they walked from downtown Nashville to the Capitol steps.
True leaders don't just sit on the sidelines. They get out and they help other people use their platforms to amplify change.
Trey Madison, a senior at MLK, was one of many students who's against arming teachers.
My teachers are expected not just to teach, but to risk their lives to protect students in a mass shooting event. They are expected to be EMTs and have gone through trainings on how to pack a bullet hole wound. Now you expect them to be armed law enforcement.
In a statement to Fox 17 News, bill sponsor and state rep Ryan Williams says this is all voluntary and staff would undergo extensive crisis management and safety training, in addition to a mental health evaluation. While Madison feels lawmakers are focused on the wrong things.
Why arming teachers instead of addressing gun violence?
To get another perspective, we also spoke with retired Metro Police Officer Ken Alexandro, who trains staff at private schools and churches across the country.
They have to qualify to a very, very high standard. And I will tell you, it's a much higher standard than any police department that I've trained or worked for.
Alexandro says he's for arming teachers in schools with stipulations.
Could it be a great thing? It could be a great thing. Could it be a catastrophic disaster? Absolutely. Depends on who you get trained by.
Alexandro wants to know more about this bill, like who is certified to train the teachers and would the gun be on them at all times. We took those questions to the bill's sponsor, but we did not hear back. Now, Alexandro tells me because of his rigorous training and psychological testing, he has not had any issues with his teachers. It's actually putting the parents at ease. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story that you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, when the debate over making the Covenant school shooters' writings public back in a Nashville courtroom. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen tonight with a preview of what to expect.
It's been a long time coming for everyone involved. The judge is expected to finally make a decision this week, but it hasn't been an easy road.
A year ago, the National Police Association filed that lawsuit. The Tennessee Firearms Association, the Tennessean, the Tennessee Star, and Senator Todd Gardenhire joined the suit. But the court case had its fair share of delays after a debate ensued over who, if anyone, would be able to intervene in this public records case. Ultimately, a judge allowed the Covenant school families and church to intervene. They fear the release of these documents will further traumatize their community and create a copycat effect. On the other side, the petitioners believe the public has a right to see the documents, while some believe this could be used to prevent other shootings.
We, as Covenant parents and families, are resolute in our commitment to, one, protect our children and families, including those who were killed and all those who survived.
The point is they are public records once they take them into their possession. The law on that point is crystal clear.
The Tennessee Star filed a federal lawsuit against the FBI for the release of these writings. The federal judge ordered the FBI to turn over the shooter's writings to the court. This means a judge will review them and determine if they should be released. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chen, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Operation Crime and Justice Police in Clarksville asking for the public's help to help catch a man wanted for aggravated robbery. Take a look. This is surveillance video from the end of last month. Police are looking for a man wearing blue jeans, blue jacket, a white mesh ball cap. You see him there. This is directly behind the victim's home. If you know anything about what happened or can identify the man in that video, call Clarksville Police. Remember, you can remain anonymous and still be eligible for a cash reward.
Also in Operation Crime and Justice, Murfreesboro police asking for help piecing together what led to a deadly road rage shooting this past weekend. Investigators say the shooter is this man, 39-year-old Joseph Gann. Police say that he fired at a group of motorcyclists Saturday while driving on South Rutherford Boulevard. 49-year-old Paul Howell died and another 48-year-old man survived the gunshot injury to the arm. Police say although the alleged shooter has turned himself in, they still do not know what led up to this shooting. If you have any information or if you saw anything, you're asked to call police. And back here in Nashville, Metro Police say that they're looking for a man responsible for a deadly crash that happened last November. This is the man that they're looking for, 27-year-old Nicholas Abdul-Wali. They say that he was driving a vehicle 70 miles an hour on Murfreesboro Pike when he crashed into Miguel Sanchez Lara's car. That crash killed the 60-year-old man. Abdul-Wali has not turned himself in, and police do not know where he is. If you know where he is, you're asked to call investigators.
In politics tonight, state lawmakers take steps to ensure voter integrity ahead of the August and the upcoming November elections. The state Senate taking up a bill today that would require the Registrar of Elections to compare the state voter database with the State Department of Safety driver's license computer database. They, in essence, want to make sure that non-citizens who may have a driver's license have not somehow managed to register to vote, which is illegal. Current law says election coordinators can check. This bill requires them to do it.
They should not be on the voter rolls, but this is just another way to assure that someone is not inadvertently or however on the voter roll, then they're not a legal U.S. citizen.
This bill passed the Tennessee Senate by a vote of 25-3. It's now on its way to the governor for his signature.
In your community tonight, Metro Police Chief John Drake showing up to attend a special celebration with the Kurdish community in Middle Tennessee. This past weekend, Drake and 3 Kurdish female officers showed up at the World Agriculture Center in Lebanon to celebrate the new Persian New Year. It coincides with the spring equinox and is a festival celebrating the beginning of spring. The event had been scheduled to take place at Edwin Warner Park, but the turnout so great they had to move it to Lebanon. Nashville Mayor Cooper also signing a declaration making March Kurdish Heritage Month in Nashville.
Closing a dangerous loophole, the crime bill to keep mentally ill suspects in custody that is now on its way to the governor.
All the best parts of breakfast in a warm tortilla, you get the goodness of Hardee's homestyle breakfast burritos, available in 3 varieties. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Operation Crime and Justice, a small comfort tonight for the parents of murdered Belmont University freshman Jillian Ludwig. A crime bill named in her memory is now headed to Governor Lee.
Well, Jillian Ludwig killed back in November, and Metro Police say that the shot was fired by a man's doctor who found him incompetent to stand trial in another case. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino shows us what this bill means for Jillian's family and the state of Tennessee.
It's certainly a pivotal and emotional day for Jillian Ludwig's family. Jillian's Law passing both the House and the Senate in a near unanimous vote.
Jillian's family very moved at the moment this law became reality. The law closes the loophole in Tennessee that had allowed a charged violent offender deemed too mentally unstable to stand trial from getting immediately released back into society. Jillian's Law would require those felony defendants to be admitted to a mental health treatment facility. It also bars that suspect from having a weapon and also puts them on a national background check database for criminals.
I'm happy that Jillian's legacy, with her name attached to this bill, will help save lives.
And the struggle is not over for Jillian's family. Shaquille Taylor, charged with firing the bullet that killed Jillian, will have a competency hearing next month to see whether or not he'll face a trial for those charges. Previously, he had been evaluated as functioning on a kindergarten level. Jillian's family saying that Taylor did in fact hold a job, had an apartment, and they say he was able to get rid of the weapon used to kill Jillian.
And Jillian's parents telling me they have now started a foundation in her name called Ray of Light. Ray is Jillian's middle name. This charity to help children learn music, Jillian's passion, also to help make Jillian's Law active in other states as well that might have had this same loophole. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, let's talk about weather. We're okay tonight, but
yeah, going into tomorrow night about this time, in fact, we'll probably be watching radar with storms coming in from the west. Now, there's going to be a couple rounds coming in. That first one will be late about this time tomorrow night. And that one will be along a decaying line of thunderstorms. I think those storms should be weakening as they move into Middle Tennessee, but it's close enough that we need to keep an eye on it as we head through the overnight hours into early Wednesday morning. I'd say if we were to see 1 or 2 stray strong thunderstorms, it'd most likely be in our northwestern counties up towards Clarksville. Then we get into the afternoon, noon to 6 p.m. and possibly even a little later than that. We'll be looking for a few more strong thunderstorms along the cold front as it passes through. So busy day on tap for Wednesday. At least Tuesday will be relatively quiet up until we get into Tuesday night. Again, our outlook for Wednesday, we do see a few of those strong thunderstorms, mainly a level 1 threat out of 5 for all of Middle Tennessee, slightly higher risk for those to the north and to the west. Now again, wind will be the primary threat, but the potential for some hail and maybe a brief tornado will be possible for us too. So going through the day on Tuesday, you can see temperatures climbing into those low 80s. We keep skies partly to mostly cloudy for much of the day, and it's going to be a bit on the breezy side too. We could find some gusts as high as 25 miles per hour as we head through tomorrow afternoon, and then continuing to see gusts up to about 20 to 25 even through Wednesday as well. So looking at these wind gusts to pick up a little bit as we head through the day tomorrow, all ahead of this storm chance for Wednesday. So here's 6 o'clock in the morning for Tuesday. You can see mostly cloudy skies. Stray shower possible, but not likely. I think most of us stay dry through the morning and midday. Notice as we head towards midnight, here's that small chance for a stray strong thunderstorm. Most of these should be below severe limits as we head through the overnight. By 6 a.m., you can see a few showers left over here with mostly cloudy skies. We get into the afternoon. I would say after lunchtime, we'll have to watch for a few more showers and thunderstorms to form. And then as we head later in the evening, the front will pass through, and that'll be the time too that we need to keep an eye on anything that tries to pop up here along that front, which you can see from future track rolling through. And this could last even into the evening hours on Wednesday night, early Thursday. So timing right now may slide as far as that second round is concerned. As we head into Wednesday night, it'll just depend on when the front finally decides to push through. Temperatures for tonight stay on the mild side as we look at a partly to mostly cloudy sky. We'll see the high tomorrow top off around 86. We do expect another warm afternoon with those winds picking up about 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts as high as 25. With partly to mostly cloudy sky. So again, we'll need to be weather aware starting tomorrow night all the way through Wednesday. We'll talk more about our severe weather threat and why it's what we call conditional, which means there are some limitations at play. I'll discuss those coming up.
Congress will look to act this week and provide aid to Israel in the wake from the attack from Iran. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming up.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. As we wrap up day one, we're looking ahead to day two when it comes to the criminal.
If you want to fight back, call us.
RockyLawFirm.com. We fight for you.
Fox 17 News, Code Red Weather.
Your first line of defense when severe weather threatens.
A new report from Axios says Israel believes it has no other choice but to retaliate against Iran's brazen attack over the weekend.
Now, the country's war cabinet is now deciding what to do as the White House is urging de-escalation in the entire region. Fox 17 News' Matt Galka has the latest.
And by the way, we want to know what you think. You can scan the QR code that will appear here shortly on the screen during the story.
Before I begin, I want to discuss some of the events that took place in the Middle East.
The president meeting with the prime minister of Iraq in the wake of Iran's attack on Israel. It was a partnership he called pivotal as the tensions in the Middle East are at a boiling point. The White House continues to urge Israel not to escalate the war.
We have been coordinating a diplomatic response to seek to prevent escalation. Strength and wisdom need to be the same sides, the different sides of the same coin.
More than 300 drones and missiles were fired at Israel, with most of the weapons intercepted by Israeli defense forces, along with allies, including the U.S. But the president reportedly told Israel over the weekend that America would not support any offensive efforts against Iran. The president's critics say the policy is weak.
They're crystal clear with our allies, with America's allies. We will not have your back in this situation. That's what leads to the weakness.
Congress will also look to respond. 17 bills are teed up for the House floor this week, either condemning Iran or showing support for Israel. The biggest question is still about aid. Democrats in the White House push for the House to take up a defense bill that includes money for Israel along with Ukraine and Taiwan. House Speaker Mike Johnson said his chamber is still working out the details.
The House Republicans and the Republican Party understand the necessity of standing with Israel. We are going to try again this week, and the details of that package are being put together right now. We're looking at the options and all these supplemental issues.
Tying Israel aid to Ukraine aid is a very divisive issue on Capitol Hill, and it's at least one of the reasons that Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene might force a vote to try and remove Speaker Mike Johnson. But Johnson says there's a consensus on making some of that Ukraine aid money a loan, an idea supported by Donald Trump, and it could be the quickest way to get money to Israel. In Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
During the story, we had a QR code up linking you with a poll asking if you think the U.S. should send more financial and military aid to Israel in its ongoing war against Hamas. You see the results here. 62.3% say no, 37.7% say yes. Our thanks for all who took a moment to cast a vote.
Still to come tonight, much bigger than the Middle East, what Iran's attack on Israel means for us all.
APR financing or a $2,000 customer bonus on a new 2024 Tiguan during the Volkswagen 75th anniversary sales event.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Well, Iran's unprecedented drone strike on Israel Sunday has the world watching whether Israel will take further military action. This after Iran launched about 350 drones and missiles that Israel shot down with its anti-missile defense system, which is backed by the U.S. and Britain. There were no deaths, only minor injuries and damage. But the chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard called it a successful mission. Joining us now is retired Lieutenant General Charlie Moore. And Lieutenant Moore, with the rest of the world watching, what happens next? How critical are these next step decisions?
Well, it's very critical to see exactly what Israel is going to do, what steps they will take. I think the good news, Megan, is that historically, in situations such as this, Israel has proven itself to be very judicious and thoughtful in how they respond to the type of actions we saw over the weekend.
What worldwide or global implications could we see? President Biden has mentioned that military aircraft has been moved into the region, as well as defense destroyers, over the past week.
Right. So obviously, the more assets that we place in the region to help defend Israel and help take on any type of further actions are going to be moved from some other location on the globe. So there's an impact to the amount of resources that the United States has.
Is there any indication that Israel may ramp up escalation and fight back?
I think that my best guess is that you will see some type of response from Israel. Quite frankly, having spent a large amount of my professional military career in that region of the world, I can tell you that the last thing that Israel can afford to do is project any type of weakness. This is an unprecedented attack on their nation, and I think it has to be answered. And I think you will see Israel do that. The good news is I think they've taken a pause to really think what that response should look like and what its scope and scale should be.
And while all of that plays out between Iran and Israel, are there national security threats that could be playing out here at home simultaneously?
I think without question, obviously we have a lot of concerns, especially what we've seen coming across the southern border and through other areas in the United States. And so could some type of response by Iran with terrorist proxies be orchestrated inside the United States is something that I'm sure we'll be on high alert for.
All right, retired Lieutenant General Charlie Moore, thank you so much for your time this week.
Thank you, Megan.
Tonight, jury selection will resume in the morning in former President Donald Trump's first criminal trial. He's facing 34 felony counts in a case that supporters are referring to as politically motivated. And as Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell shows us, critics hope that it changes the trajectory of the upcoming presidential race.
The search begins for fair and impartial jurors to weigh in and listen to arguments in a case featuring one of the most hated and loved men in America, former President Donald Trump.
You know, jury selection is largely luck. It depends who you get.
The trial begins despite multiple attempts by Trump and his lawyers to delay it, with allegations Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is unfair and complaints about the gag order Trump was issued after criticizing likely witnesses and making false claims about family members of the judge.
On Monday in New York City, I will be forced to sit fully gagged. I'm not allowed to talk. Can you believe it? They want to take away my constitutional right to talk.
Hundreds are expected to report for jury duty and answer 42 questions related to their feelings about Donald Trump himself and the case, which centers on charges Trump falsified records related to hush money payments made to former adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime.
Stormy Daniels, in addition to Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen and former aide Hope Hicks, all expected to testify once the case gets underway, as critics continue to call it politically motivated.
So they took a dead misdemeanor and bootstrapped it into effectively trying a federal crime. But the federal crime here under election law was rejected by the Department of Justice. They didn't feel that this should be charged.
Still, others say whatever happens, it's unlikely to largely impact the election.
He'll probably go back on the campaign trail and almost like rehash what's going on. He'll try to victimize it, and that has worked for him, right? I mean, this has been going on for over a year, and his poll numbers never seem to go down because of the issue.
Jury selection is expected to take about a week, followed by a 6 to 8 week trial, which lands us in the middle of summer in the 2024 presidential race and just before the Republican National Convention. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
In our code red alert, again, tracking the potential for a couple rounds of strong thunderstorms, mainly isolated for Wednesday. It's one of those situations where we want to make sure that you are at least aware of the potential as we get closer to Wednesday late Tuesday into early Wednesday, and then again Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. Things are quiet though on radar this evening. Most of the severe thunderstorms have been in Kentucky and in portions of Virginia this afternoon. We go through tomorrow morning. The potential for a stray shower exists, but I would say that our better overall chance for a few showers and then thunderstorms will come in again Wednesday morning and then again in the afternoon hours. But notice it's going to be pretty isolated across the area here. So not everybody will see widespread showers, but I do think we're going to find some pockets here and there across the area. We take a look at our allergy levels today. It has been brutal today from the Allergy, Asthma and Sinus Center. Tree pollen continues to be very high. A list of all of the trees indicated in that pollen count here. Weeds in the low category, but both grass and mold in the moderate category. And it looks like we'll continue to see, again, mainly dry conditions for tomorrow. So I would expect this to remain high for us. We'll talk more about the conditional threat, what that means for the strong thunderstorm chance on Wednesday, coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red.
When you'd say something to me, I didn't have to wonder if you were telling me the truth.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by U.S. Pest Protection.
Well, this week on Full Measure, Cher Atkinson focused on a recall investigation of CPAP machines made by Philips.
That's right. Reporter Liz Mohan with ProPublica worked on that investigation and shares what she learned.
If you can explain in really simple terms what a CPAP device does for people, they may have sort of a general idea but not really know much about it.
A CPAP machine provides gentle air pressure to the user. Essentially, when you have sleep apnea, your throat muscles relax to such a degree that your airway collapses. And this can cause you to stop breathing. And it can signal to your body that an emergency is happening because oxygen is decreasing. So essentially, a CPAP machine just provides gentle air pressure through the nose and mouth, and it keeps the airway open just enough to keep the user breathing smoothly all night. The foam that was used in the machines is an industrial foam that is also found in sofas and mattresses. And at high heat, the foam can break down into these tiny disintegrated particles that are known to be toxic and potentially carcinogenic.
What was the company's response, did you discover, as part of the co-investigation that you did when they began to get these complaints from consumers?
Philips received over 3,700 complaints over the span of 11 years. And they first launched an investigation in 2019, which was 9 years after the first complaint. And their response was that complaints leading up to the recall were few and far between, and that they responded as soon as they understood the potential significance of the problem.
What would you say is the overarching lesson you learned as you found out more about this case?
We all have a right to sleep. And so for these patients, I think about how they were not given a right to know sooner the risks of their machines. If they had been told even a few years sooner, we don't know if the machine could harm you, but we're letting you make that decision.
Now, Philips disagrees with ProPublica's characterization, but the company is apologizing for and says it regrets any inconvenience, to its customers.
You can watch a replay of Cheryl's story on this topic at fullmeasure.com.news, and you can watch a new episode of Full Measure every Sunday morning at 7:30 and 11 p.m. right here on Fox 17.
Coming up, talking more about our storm threat for Wednesday and some of the limitations that we'll face.
And giving his life in the line of duty, the honor today at our state capitol for a Memphis police officer killed on Friday in a shootout.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
An Operation Crime and Justice, a tribute to a fallen Memphis police officer today downtown at the state capitol. Members of the state Senate standing en masse in honor of Memphis police officer Rusty McKinney, who was shot to death in the line of duty late last week. After a moment of silence, Senator Ben Taylor, who represents a part of Memphis, offered a prayer for McKinney and those he leaves behind.
He was a brave and dedicated police officer who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty just 3 nights ago. We pray, Lord, for comfort and strength for his wife and daughter, and we ask for comfort and strength for his friends and colleagues on the Memphis Police Department during this very difficult and trying time.
Officer McKinney joined the Memphis Police Department back in 2020. He was killed in a shootout with 2 teenagers near an elementary school early Friday morning. Officer McKinney was 26.
Well, home explosions rocked neighborhoods from coast to coast in 2023, and our Spotlight on America team has learned that it was the deadliest year for these catastrophic blasts in nearly 20 years. Investigative correspondent Angie Moreski takes a closer look at what's causing them and whether you should be worried about your home.
This catastrophic home explosion captured on doorbell video was the deadliest nationwide in 2023, killing 6 people in the suburban neighborhood of Rustic Ridge, just east of Pittsburgh. These are just some of the sudden, devastating explosions that made 2023 the deadliest year since 2004 for gas-fed explosions, with 23 fatalities, more than 4 times higher than the year before. Rich Meyer is a fire explosion investigator.
How often is it natural gas pipelines involved?
Probably half or more.
Aging infrastructure, old corroded gas pipelines are more likely to crack and leak, increasing the risk, he says, of gas migrating underground into people's homes and causing explosions.
There are lines that have been in place for over 100 years, and they are breaking.
Besides aging infrastructure, other significant issues that can cause leaks that lead to explosions include construction work, where pipes can be damaged during digging, and malfunctioning equipment. Malfunctioning equipment was the cause of a massive deadly explosion in 2016 in Silver Spring, Maryland at the Flower Branch Apartments. 5 adults and 2 children died.
Sometimes when I come out, I think I can smell it.
Isidro Vargas will never forget the terror of that night.
I saw people jumping from the building. It's been terrible, I can tell you.
Investigators concluded a malfunctioning mercury regulator on a gas meter caused the deadly blast. And human error caused a massive explosion here just a few miles away in 2022 at the Friendly Garden Apartments, also in Silver Spring. A maintenance worker doing repairs accidentally cut a gas line instead of a water line.
That one.
Alex Jacqua lives at Friendly Garden.
Boom. And then when I look out through the window, and then I saw the flame.
The National Transportation Safety Board investigates major explosions that lead to fatalities, significant injury, and property loss. But not all explosions are required to be reported to the federal government, making it harder to determine patterns across the country.
What would the benefit of having a comprehensive database be?
The more information you have, the better armed you are when it comes to fixing the problem.
If you use gas in your home, one way to protect yourself is to get an in-home gas detector. I got this one on Amazon for $20. All you do is plug it into the wall near a gas appliance. Then, if gas builds up, an alarm sounds warning you to get out. A small investment to potentially save lives. For Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.
More on our severe weather threat, or at least the potential for severe weather going into Wednesday. Again, we're looking at 2 separate rounds, one overnight into early Wednesday morning. That's where we're looking at a stray strong thunderstorm, mainly in our northwestern counties. The majority of those storms for the overnight should be below severe limits. It'll be later in the day Wednesday with this cold front passing through that we'll need to watch for potential development for strong to severe thunderstorms. But it's what we call a conditional storm threat. So I'm going to try and explain it like baking a cake, if you will. So when you bake a cake, you've got all of the ingredients ready to go, which is what we'd have on Wednesday. All of the ingredients will be there for severe weather. If the storms can get going, they can become strong quickly. So that's why we want to make sure that you're staying aware that the ingredients are there. We just need to get into the kitchen and bake the cake for us to get those strong thunderstorms. And that's going to be the conditional threat for us on Wednesday. If those storms can get going and break what we call the cap, then we'll see the potential rise quickly for severe thunderstorms. Again, our better threat for severe weather will be on Wednesday. As we get into the later half of the week, more thunderstorm chances for us Friday and Saturday, and then tapering off as we head towards Sunday, the second half of the weekend. Walking you through here the timing on a more larger scale so you can kind of see what's going on. We have this warm front in play, and that is going to stay north of us for tomorrow. The result will be pretty warm temperatures, a lot like what we had today. Mid-80s expected. A breezy south wind too, helping to pull in more of this moisture. Ingredients ready for severe thunderstorms on Wednesday. This is 12 noon tomorrow, but let's walk you through the evening hours. This is 10, 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Here's that small storm chance I was talking about as we head into the overnight hours. This will likely be a decaying line, so better chance for strong thunderstorms tomorrow evening west of us. And as that line marches closer to Middle Tennessee, it will likely weaken. But knocking on the doorstep of our western counties, so we may find one or two stray strong thunderstorms very early Wednesday morning. Here's Wednesday morning, again looking at the potential for some showers. These will be sub-severe as well. It'll be later in the day as the front inches closer to Middle Tennessee after, I would say, noon into the evening hours, even as this front starts to push closer to Middle Tennessee. That'll be the time frame that we're looking at the potential for severe weather. I might actually have to push the timing a little bit later tomorrow night as well to include after 6 p.m. because the latest model trends here showing a little bit later timeline. That continues through early overnight into early Thursday morning. So bottom line, I just want to make sure you're staying aware throughout the day on Wednesday and Wednesday night. We get a brief break before another round of showers and thunderstorms moves in. This will happen late Thursday night into Friday. So we'll be looking at pretty busy a couple of days ahead as far as the active weather is concerned. 86 for tomorrow and breezy. We'll look at showers and storms possible for Wednesday. Temperatures will be around 80 degrees. Low 80s for Thursday. We are quiet throughout the day, but we get into early Friday, more showers and storms building in. We do cool down quite a bit as we head towards the weekend. Highs only in the low 60s on Sunday.
Thank you, Katie. Just ahead, who does it best?
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
Covering the Capitol tonight, some lighthearted debate today over a bill to add Memphis-style barbecue to the list of official Tennessee foods.
This is fun stuff. This measure passed the House and was before the full Senate this afternoon. Now, you think that food is one thing that Republicans and Democrats could get together on, but even this bill generated a little good-hearted conversation.
Making Memphis barbecue the state's official state food, I think, is unfair to the folks of East Tennessee that make pretty good barbecue.
Having lived in both East Tennessee and Memphis, I'd have to say that West Tennessee barbecue is much better.
We also have the World Barbecue Fest every year, the Memphis and May Barbecue Fest, that brings thousands of people from across the world into Memphis to experience our culture around barbecue.
Yes, I would just like to know if the hot slaw would go with the Memphis barbecue.
A legit question. Now, we're glad tonight to be able to report the House and Senate have agreed on a single bill to celebrate Memphis barbecue as an official state food. And that bill, ladies, is moving forward. Just glad to set the record straight.
Lawmakers could always agree.
I know, right?
Stuff like that.
Makes you want to get a plate, right?
I just want barbecue.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
It does.
All right, well, tax day is here. How many of you say that you are getting a return this year?
hash browns, and all the best parts of breakfast in a warm tortilla, you get the goodness of Hardee's home-style breakfast burritos, available in 3 varieties. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Well, in just a couple of hours, your taxes are officially due. Hopefully, you will get them done in time. That is, if you're still working on them right now.
Well, we want to know what you think. Well, it's not a think question. It's a is or it isn't. Are you getting a tax refund this year? Most people say no. 53.5% say no. 40% say yes. 6.5% running a little late and say they haven't filed yet. But this poll's still live right now, so you can scan the QR code and check one of those boxes, and we'll show you updated poll results here a little later in the newscast.
A lingering effect of the pandemic could threaten a key pillar of the U.S. economy. I'm Atrell Nashar with the building pressure on commercial real estate.
A single shot to the heart could make a big difference in preventing future heart attacks. I'm Liz Bonus. We have new research on that we're going to share just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with breaking news as Metro Police identify 18-year-old Tyler Phan as the third and final suspect in the deadly shooting of a security guard last month.
Well, officers say that Phan is one of 3 men breaking into cars outside Illusion Bar and Lounge. When Maurice Thomas Jr. went to check out the noise, police say they shot the security guard several times.
That's right. He died there at the scene. We have more information on the other arrests associated with this case at our website, fox17.com.
In our Fox 17 Code Red weather alert, as we track the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms for Wednesday. So tomorrow will be quiet, but Wednesday is going to be the time that we're watching for a couple different rounds. One very early in the morning. That one going to be maybe a stray strong thunderstorm to the north and west. As we get into the afternoon and the evening on Wednesday, as the front moves in, that'll be the one that we need to watch for all modes of severe weather. Mainly across all of Middle Tennessee. You can see our map here for again Wednesday. All of us at least in a level 1 to our north and west in a level 2 threat. Wind and hail the primary threats here, but can't rule out a spin-up tornado, and that's going to be conditional, meaning that all the ingredients need to come together and then the storms need a way to fire as we get into the afternoon hours. We'll talk more about that coming up. Live look at Broadway this evening. Things remain quiet for us. We're sitting at 73 degrees with a couple clouds that are around. Severe weather has been to our north and to our east for the afternoon today. We have been nice and quiet here in Tennessee, and that's the way it will stay for the overnight. We stay mild as well. Temperatures down to about 64 for Nashville, Murfreesboro around 63, and Clarksville around 65. We'll walk you through the timing for the storm threat coming up. Scott.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, some Metro High School students walk out of class, let their feet and voices do the talking as they express to lawmakers exactly what they think of a bill to allow our teachers to go armed. Now, these students converged on the state capitol today en masse, carrying signs, and you heard the chanting.
Well, some parents and lawmakers also joined them, and those students want lawmakers to know that they see some problems with this bill. They're worried about 40 hours of training. Is it enough? And if more people should know who is carrying other than police and the superintendent.
Teachers are expected not just to teach, but to risk their lives to protect students in a mass shooting event. They are expected to be EMTs and have gone through trainings on how to pack a bullet hole wound. Now you expect them to be armed law enforcement.
In a statement to Fox 17 News, the bill's sponsor, Representative Ryan William, says this is all voluntary and those taking part would also need a mental health evaluation. The bill is expected to go before the House today, and it did, and passed the Senate last week.
In the wake of the Covenant school shootings early last year, some Nashville parents have become outspoken advocates for change. They believe allowing teachers to carry guns is a flawed idea because it creates the expectation for them to function as SROs.
The Senate sponsor, Senator Bailey, stated in the Judiciary Committee that all armed teachers would be expected to act in the same way as an SRO during a school shooting. This means they would leave their classrooms and pursue an active shooter. But who would be protecting our children in their classrooms?
Something else Covenant school parents worry about: school staff not knowing who's armed, who's not, leading to more confusion potentially during an active shooter situation. You can see all of our stories on this bill, which would allow Tennessee teachers to carry guns at school, at our website, fox17.com. When you get there, just search arming teachers. Crisis in the Classroom is our ongoing commitment to our viewers to expose problems at all levels in our schools and to seek solutions. If you have a story you think we should be covering, tell us about it in an email and send that to news@fox17.com. Or you can call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
Law now on the way to Governor Bill Lee's desk to sign. That law, named after Belmont freshman Jillian Ludwig. She died back in November when police say that a stray bullet hit her while she was out walking. Metro Police say Shaquille Taylor fired that shot. Court documents show that he was out on the streets after doctors ruled him incompetent to stand trial in another case. State lawmakers say this law will close that loophole, something her parents say they are passionate about.
An emotional day today for sure to see it come to fruition, and the pace that it went through the legislature. It's really a testament to the quality of the law and a testament to Jillian.
Jillian's parents telling Fox 17 News that they started a foundation in her name called Ray of Light. Ray is Jillian's middle name. Its mission is to help children learn music.
Continuing coverage tonight is jury selection in former President Donald Trump's first criminal trial will resume in the morning. This case centers on hush money, a payment made to former adult film star Stormy Daniels. Prosecutors argue the former president had his people falsify business records, documents that is, to hide the payment, which they say would have been evidence of the affair.
Nothing like this has never happened before. There's never been anything like it.
At its core, this case today is one with allegations like so many of our white-collar cases.
This is playing out in New York. It is the first of 4 criminal cases for Mr. Trump. He also is facing some civil cases.
Tonight, the big question, what's next? And it's a question on many minds following the unprecedented attack of Israel by Iran. Over the weekend, Iran launched almost 350 drones and missiles at Israel. Israel and its allies, including the U.S., shot down 99% of them. Israel's war cabinet met today for a second day in a row. While the U.S. has promised to support its ally, the White House says that support does not include going to war.
The United States is committed to Israel's security. We're committed to a ceasefire that will bring the hostages home and preventing conflict from spreading beyond what it already has.
Well, critics say Israel is using the rising tensions with Iran to distract from conditions in Gaza and a growing call for a ceasefire there.
In consumer news tonight, the federal income tax filing deadline is now less than 2 hours away. Know this: if you can't get it done in time, be sure to file an extension, and you have to do that by midnight as well. People in Tennessee, of course, don't pay state income taxes, so there is nothing to file in this state in that regard. Now, taxes are the subject of our Fox 17 News X poll tonight. Our question: are you getting a refund this year? 420 people have weighed in. The majority, 53.3%, say no, 40.2% say yes, and 6.4% took time out of preparing their taxes late this evening to let us know we haven't filed yet. Poll's still live right now. If you'd like to weigh in, jump on the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen and cast your vote as well.
I'm Jeff Harris in Washington. Coming up, summer camp prices are on the rise across the country. We explain what's behind the increase and
17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Homebuyers.
In the economy tonight, more parents will be saying no to summer camp this year, putting those operators in a tough spot.
That's because some parents often use these camps as childcare. But as Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris shows us, this summer they simply can't make the dollars make sense.
For kids, camp is a time to let loose, have some fun, and also learn some new skills. For parents, on the other hand, camp has a completely different purpose. Just like during the school year, the workday is kid-free, but with the cost of camp going up, some parents feel like they're being priced out.
We can't afford for both of them to be in full-time camp for 2.5 months. It's not possible.
That's Jamie Adursky, a mother of 2 living in New Jersey.
This is Xander.
What's his middle name?
Leah.
In her free time, Jamie likes to post videos on TikTok.
The eclipse got me. I'm not usually an emotional man.
But her most recent video really hit home for a lot of parents.
The camp I just described to you? Oh, that's $5,000.
Trying to enroll her kids in a local summer camp, not only did Jamie see higher prices, but she says in some cases there were mandatory deposits and additional fees.
You know, there was another camp I was looking at, but they wanted me to put $2,000 down. And I'm like, I don't have $2,000 cash to just put down.
According to a summer camp cost study put together by Summer Camp Hub, overnight camps in 2024 cost an average of $175 to $325 a day. Day camps are a little bit less, costing between $70 and $120. So depending on the length of the camp, you could be spending thousands.
We can't go on a vacation because I'm spending thousands of dollars on camp.
As for what's causing prices to go up, NYU economics professor Nicholas Economides says, just like so many other things, inflation.
Inflation is an issue, it's a problem that cuts across all categories and increases the cost of many goods and services as well, including summer camp.
But will prices eventually come back down, or will they continue to go up every summer? Economides says, expect to pay more.
I don't see it going away immediately. It might take us a couple of years to get rid of it.
If a standard camp is out of the question this summer, you do have some other options. Check out your local YMCA or any rec centers in the area to see what options they might have available. But you do have to keep in mind prices will likely vary depending on where you live. I'm Jeff Harris reporting for the National Desk, America's News Now.
I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, how news organizations are attempting to pressure Donald Trump and Joe Biden to agree.
4 ways to save big every day. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal say the chances of a recession within the next year are down to 29%. That's down from 39% in the January survey. Tesla is reported to be laying off more than 10% of its global workforce. Tech website Electrek says CEO Elon Musk revealed the plans in a note to staff, saying the company has been growing rapidly and it has duplication of roles and job functions in certain areas. Musk says the cuts will leave the company lean, innovative, and hungry for the next growth phase cycle. Electrek estimates the 10% could mean 14,000 employees will be laid off. Apple has lost smartphone market share. Research firm IDC says Samsung is again the world's top global smartphone company, partly because Chinese companies are siphoning off some of the global market. IDC says global shipments of Apple smartphones slipped more than 9.5% in the recent quarter. And Nike is facing backlash over its new Olympic uniforms designed for Team USA's female track athletes. Former track stars saying online the high cut will make it difficult and uncomfortable to compete, as opposed to the men's designs, which covers most of the thigh. Nike says athletes can opt in or out of the new look. That's business. I'm CJ Papa, Fox News.
Group of news organizations tonight is pushing to get former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden on the debate stage.
Well, this, as it's becoming clear, they will not take the podium before November. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins shows us where that push stands tonight.
For decades, presidential debates have been a hallmark of election season.
For a discussion of issues in the current political campaign by the 2 major candidates for the presidency.
with televised matchups taking place each cycle going back to 1976.
Mr. President, I'd like to explore a little more deeply our relationship with the Russians.
This time, it's not clear any debates will happen between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. On Sunday, 12 national news outlets releasing a joint statement urging the presumptive presidential nominees to publicly commit to participating in general election debates before November's election. This comes as President Biden remains wishy-washy on whether or not he'll participate.
Mr. President, will you commit to a debate with former President Trump? It depends on his behavior.
When you don't participate, you take a major risk. And that risk is you look like you're afraid to bring up your ideas against your opponent.
Trump, meanwhile, repeatedly challenging Biden.
It's time for Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, and I to debate. We owe it to our country. We owe it to all Americans.
Debates generally are a risk for the frontrunner. Donald Trump lost last time. And so he has to catch up some ground, even though he is leading in some of the polls. He's going to try to make Joe Biden look weak and old. This has been part of his message.
Trump also hasn't publicly committed to any debates, which are already scheduled. The first set for September 16th in San Marcos, Texas, the second October 1st in Petersburg, Virginia, and the third October 9th in Salt Lake City, Utah.
The statement sent out by news organizations said while it is too early for official debate invites to be sent out, it's not too early for the presumptive nominees to state their public support and intention to debate. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting. In our Code Red Alert, as we track the potential for a few strong thunderstorms as we head into Wednesday. There will be a small threat very early Wednesday morning between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., mainly north and west. Then another one coming in along the front, which will be Wednesday afternoon and maybe latest. Evening. Then we get into early Wednesday morning, still maintaining those gusts anywhere between 20 to about 25 miles per hour. So let's walk you through the overnight. Tomorrow, not a problem for us here. We'll keep skies partly to mostly cloudy. This is 4 p.m. Notice as we head closer to midnight, that's going to be our first threat here. It's a small one, and it's going to be as this line of thunderstorms to the west marches into Middle Tennessee. I expect them to weaken as they march in, which is why we're not expecting as many strong thunderstorms for early Wednesday morning. But because it's as close as it is and the fact that we're talking about the overnight, I want to make sure that we're staying weather aware. As we head through Wednesday morning, some showers will be around. These should be non-severe. Then we get into the afternoon. Notice that future track brings in the line here around 6 o'clock. So again, may have to shift my timing into more of a later evening event for Wednesday here. Some of these will need monitoring for the potential of a stray strong thunderstorm or two. I don't expect widespread severe weather with this event, but again, the ingredients are there. It's just something we want to make sure we're staying aware of. It's spring season. Doesn't take much to get a couple of these thunderstorms going. Temperatures are in the 80s all the way through Thursday, then cooling down quite a bit as we head towards the weekend.
A lingering effect of the pandemic could threaten a key pillar of the U.S. economy. I'm Atrell Nashar with the building pressure on commercial real estate.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. As we wrap up day one, we're looking ahead to day two when it comes to the criminal trial.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Predators.
Tracking the economy, another side effect of the pandemic, as more and more people are working from home, commercial buildings are sitting vacant.
And as Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar shows us, economists warn this could become a real issue for us all.
Trading in fluorescent office lights for the comfort of home, by 2025, 1 in 5 Americans is expected to work remotely. It's a trend that's terrifying the commercial real estate market and the banks that finance office buildings that have emptied out.
Commercial real estate is a slow burn. It's a classic burn, and so there'll be difficulties, and we're working at.
Declining office property values and high interest rates spell trouble. Economists at the National Bureau of Economic Research say 44% of office loans are for properties now worth less than their outstanding debt.
When interest rates go up 300 basis points, whatever you own with their cash flow is worth 30% less.
Large firms like Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase are in a much better position to navigate the risk than regional banks like New York Community Bank Corp. Top rating firm Moody's downgraded the bank to junk status earlier this year, in part because around 54% of its office loans are in Manhattan, where office vacancy is around 15%. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, more than $1 trillion in commercial real estate loans in the U.S. will come due in the next 2 years. The International Monetary Fund says a spike in delinquencies and defaults could trigger negative spillovers to the rest of the economy. The Federal Reserve is keeping close watch.
We've looked at banks that have significant concentrations, and we've been in touch with them to make sure that they have a plan to deal with that. There will be losses by some banks.
With the U.S. having the largest commercial property market in the world, the Fed believes this is a problem that will haunt the nation's financial system for years. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
A single shot to the heart could make a big difference in preventing future heart attacks. I'm Liz Bonus. We have new research on that we're going to share just ahead.
Around like a little billy goat. That's what I wanted to.
I'm Moira, and this is my Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
In a Fox 17 News health alert, there is a new therapy that could help reduce your risk of a heart attack.
Well, Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus shows us how it works.
Hey everybody, this new research shows a single shot that you take once a month can drop cholesterol significantly. It works because it's what's called a PCSK9 inhibitor.
What it is a drug to lower LDL-C cholesterol, which in layman's terms is the bad cholesterol.
Cholesterol is a waxy substance found in your blood. As it deposits in your vessels, it reduces blood flow and raises heart attack risk. Nurse practitioner Katie Vale-Freeberg of Ohio's Velocity Clinical Research says these new PCSK9s can reduce that risk by giving the body a bit of a boost.
So the way that this drug works, hard for your liver to get that cholesterol out of your body. What this drug does is it blocks that protein and it makes it easier for your body to get rid of the cholesterol.
A study just presented at the annual meeting of the American College of Cardiology found a new kind of PCSK9 inhibitor reduced bad cholesterol in 9 out of 10 patients by 50%. The placebo group dropped just 16%.
15 years ago, we were doing research on the statins, which at the time we thought were going to be the best thing to ever happen to cholesterol research. And how could we ever get better than that? Here we are 15 years later doing PCSK9 research.
The research on these new monthly shots shows PCSK9s may help those who do not respond well to therapies such as statins currently on the market. Katie says the goal is to get bad cholesterol levels now to 70 or lower.
This drug really aids in that goal.
Now, just a note, this isn't a magic shot to lower your cholesterol. You still need a healthy diet, regular exercise, need to quit smoking, all part of the prescription that goes along with these PCSK9s. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, let's talk about the weather. Tomorrow, good before bad.
Yeah, it's not going to be too bad. In fact, it'll be warm again for tomorrow, breezy as well. But it will be Wednesday that we're tracking the potential for a few strong thunderstorms. I don't see this as a widespread, significant severe weather outbreak, but again, one that's in the overnight hours, and then Wednesday afternoon, evening. It's always good to be prepared, ready to go, just in case. Should be quite a bit of ingredients there for severe weather. Just